Alright guys, happy Halloween and welcome to the, Halloween Q&A. I want to thank everyone who sent in questions for this Q&A, and as always, if you'd like to be part of the next one, just hit the link below, head on over to my page. You guys can hit the first tier, that'll allow you access to do so. As of this recording, I just finished my episode reviews of Agatha All Along. I still need to get, I need to catch back up on Penguin, but still, if you want to check out those episode reviews, because those will be ending soon, and check out my movie reviews, just hit the link below in the description box, hit the first tier, that'll allow you access to do so. But without further ado, let's get into it. Sorry. It's been a long day. Anyway, so our first set of questions come from Nolan Unejo, whose first question is, who do you think would win? Frankenstein's monster or Michael Myers? If you haven't figured, this is the Halloween franchise, not like Halloween in general. So, Michael versus the Frankenstein monster. It's kind of open because he didn't really specify as to which Frankenstein monster, but I imagine it's going to be let's just say it's the Karloff monster. Either way, I am giving it to the Karloff monster, mostly because he's already dead and those knife wounds aren't really going to do much but hurt him and piss him off. Also, the monster is much stronger than Michael is, so I'm going to give that one to the monster over Michael. Second question, which Chaos God can Michael Myers be a champion for? Honestly, it's gonna be Korn. Korn would be the Chaos God that would choose Michael for, bloodshed alone. Michael's bloodshed would be, enough to get Korn's attention. I wouldn't say make a champion. That'd probably, if you were gonna go by horror characters, that would be a champion for Korn. Probably be Jason. But Michael's body count has exceeded over Jason's, and would be more than enough to get Jason's attention. Korn's attention. I will say though that there is with enough finagling, you could make the argument that Michael could be a servant of Slaanesh, mostly because he kills in excess, and Slaanesh is the Lord of Excess. But that one's a little more trickier, so I'm going to say Korn. Third question. If Michael Myers was set loose in Florida, what Florida-style kills would you have him do? Probably throw someone into an airboat propeller. That's kind of the first one that comes to mind, is just chuck his ass just hurl his ass, someone's ass, into a airboat propeller. Dump someone headfirst into an alligator pit. Maybe get high on bath salts and just start eating people's faces. There's another one. So thank you for those questions, Nolan. Moving on now to Gordon Rajani, who asks, first question, is there a victim supporting character from the series you like besides Loomis and Laurie? Easy. Jamie Lloyd and Rachel. Jamie Lloyd and, Rachel. From Halloween 4. Those are probably the best characters outside of Loomis and Laurie, period. They're such great characters, and even Jamie herself in as bad as Halloween 5 is, Jamie still Danielle Harris, even as a child, carries that movie. Sorry, hydrating. So yeah, that's my opinion on it. I would say Allison. Allison is good, but Halloween Ends ruins that character. It just damages her. And it kind of sucks. Anyway, second question. Which film do you think the years later sequels to the... Okay, sorry, let me rephrase that. Which film do you think the years later sequel to the original Halloween is better? H2O or 2018? I like both. I like H2O and the Halloween 2018 reboot. The Halloween 2018 requel. Sorry, meant to say requel. They both have their strengths and weaknesses. I really do like both. I, honest to God, like both. But having rewatched, H20, I do think there are some visible flaws, not just in the CGI mask and whatnot. But I do think the movie does have some story problems and things like that. But on a whole, I think it's still good. But I would give, even though the quality does all roads lead to Halloween Ends for the Blumhouse film, Halloween 2018 on its own, if you just watch that movie on its own, it's still a solid movie. H2O still has some problems. If you watch the 2018 movie by itself, even if you... I like Kills. I like Halloween Kills. But if you didn't like Kills or Ends, you can still watch Halloween 2018 and go, that was a solid movie. So, for me, at least, that's my opinion. I'm going to say 2018. Yeah. Third question. Do you think they should have kept John Carpenter's original plan to have the rest of the Halloween movies be standalone stories like Season of the Witch, or do you prefer that they went back to Michael Myers? Well, it's not a matter of what I would have preferred. I think Season of the Witch is still a great film, and had it just been called, if it wasn't called Halloween 3 and just called Season of the Witch, I think people would have liked it much more. It's like one of Carpenter's like cult classic movies that from the get-go, rather than just be, connected, be connected to the movie without Michael. I will say that I think it was probably the smarter idea to, keep Michael. The only way they could have done a movie without Michael is they should have done that with Halloween 2, and then suddenly changed to Halloween 3 as a totally different film. Because back then, you didn't have, online telling people it's going to be an anthology now, so no one was really prepared for it. So, yeah, it sucks, but I think it was the smart idea to come back to Michael. Yeah. Anyway, thank you for those questions, Gordon. Moving on now to Bill McLaughlin, whose first question is, what are your thoughts on Malcolm McDowell's performance as Sam Loomis in Rob Zombie movies? He tried, man. He's just working with what he's got. I can't fault him for anything, but he is just doing what he can and trying and just doing his best. That's all he can do, is just his best with what he was given. I can't fault him for that in any way, shape, or form. He was just doing his damnedest to, work with what he had. Malcolm McDowell is a great actor, but, man, the writing was just not there, and he was just given what he had. There's nothing else I can say about that. Second question. What is your favorite Michael Myers kill? Favorite Michael Myers kill? I mean, of course you have, Paul's kill in the first film. Was it Paul? It was... yeah, I think it was Paul. I think that was the guy's name. There's that kill. I would say probably the kill I like the most is in Halloween 4. The shotgun through the chest for that one girl. That's probably the one I think. It's a dumb kill. It is the dumbest fucking thing I have ever seen in any Halloween kill. But I'm gonna say that's probably one of my favorites. Another one I really enjoyed is the fireman, the opening fireman kills in, Halloween Kills. That's definitely one I thoroughly enjoy. That's another one I thoroughly enjoy. Just showing the brutality and just absolute power Michael has. Yeah, I'd say that one. There's a few others that come to mind, but those are the ones that really make me go, yeah, totally. Those are the kills that are just awesome. Third question. Do you ever think we'll get a Michael Myers in a future Mortal Kombat game, or do you feel like he's just too similar to Jason and MKX? We were supposed to get Michael in. Apparently, word on the street is it wasn't supposed to be Leatherface. It was supposed to be Michael for MKX. But the reason being is because they just couldn't find enough, because they were doing the whole, versions, different fighting styles, and Michael wasn't, unique enough, and they couldn't get enough costume designs for it, with Leatherface, where they used original, Pretty Lady, and the remake. And I'm like, that's kind of, even then, that's kind of bullshit. And also, it was a rights thing, which that one I would believe more. But I would say if you're going to do, if that was the complaint of not having enough variation, you could have just done, Rob Zombie Michael, fucking Michael wearing the clown mask from the, with the bandages from Halloween 4, and Halloween 78. It's not hard, but I believe that would be rights, probably. Anyway, thank you for those questions, Bill. Moving on now to Dominique Fuentes, who asks, could Michael Myers survive in Roanapur? Could he? Yes. Is he gonna last all night? That's an even bigger question. I think, he could definitely sneak around and kill his way through a lot of people, But in the end, Roanapur isn't like a scared little town full of scared little people. It's a town full of some vicious motherfuckers, and they're all looking to just end someone's life. So, I'd say he'd get a few kills in, but I don't know if he's surviving the whole night. Yeah. Second question. Why does Michael Myers walk slow while other characters from Halloween are running from every movie? That's just slasher standard 101. That's really all I can say to that. It is just the slasher standard. Every killer walks slow. A majority of killers will walk slow, and yeah, that's not just Michael. That's just every killer. You know, that's all I can say to that. It's slasher 101. Third question. Do you think Michael Myers is the scariest slasher? You know, I like to think so. I like to think Michael is definitely the scariest slasher we have. Probably because he just feel like Michael, just the idea of there's no rhyme or reason. There's no like, oh, he was killed because he was mistreated for being misshapen. We're not counting the Rob Zombie remake, just shut up on that. Or he was the son of 1,000 maniacs and he was also a child murderer, or something of that. He was just a kid who snapped one night and just killed. Not like like you could say like, oh, what about the totemic Samhain stuff? Shut up. Doesn't matter in that storyline. But I love the idea of just Michael one night decided I'm just gonna kill people, and starting with my sister, and that's really it. And just the fact that Michael keeps coming at you makes it even more. So I would say, yeah, Michael's definitely it would be one of the scariest, I would say. So there you go. Thank you for those questions, Dominique. Moving on now to the Mount Vernon kid, who starts off with, how would you make a Halloween Scream crossover? Well, the thing of it is, you have to understand that Halloween in the Scream universe is a movie. So, that's going to be tough. Because again, like, Halloween is even said multiple times to be a movie. So, maybe have it that, like, there's a Ghostface killer going around, and then encounters, like, a guy dressed as Michael, and they're like, ah, you're very funny, but this is my turf, and, you know, dressing up as Michael, you know, how very original. And the guy keeps just coming at Ghostface, and he's like, dude, go the fuck down! And it makes you think, is it really Michael or something, or is it something else? That's the best way I could look at it. Yeah. Second question. Worst looking mask of Michael Myers. You know, it's easy to say the CGI mask, and that's definitely one that comes to mind. And I think that's a lot of people's very, albeit valid, answer to that question. I really do think so. But for me, I think the worst, by far, the worst mask is Halloween 5, Revenge of Michael Myers mask. That mask is so garbage. It is, and the reason why I'm saying why that over the CGI mask, the CGI mask only lasts a couple seconds. You're stuck with the Halloween 5 mask the whole fucking movie. I know some people are going to say Halloween 4, and that mask is not great, but they worked with what they had, and I still think the movie around it's good enough to make you look past the mask. Here, on the other hand, you're stuck with that mask in a bad movie. It's not like with Halloween 4's mask, where it's like, alright, I can look past the mask, and even when they had like a tan mask for one scene, but it's a good enough movie to make you forget that. With Halloween 5, it's a shit movie, and that shit mask reminds you that you're watching a shit movie. That's why I say Halloween 5. The Halloween 5 mask. Third question. I was asking this question on my Halloween Q&A. Would you care for a Halloween prequel? Maybe explain Michael's darkness, why he went into a rage of killing his... Okay, I would say, for me personally, I would like a Halloween prequel, but focus on Loomis. I think that'd be really cool, of like a Loomis story where he's treating Michael the whole film, like, and not give a reason. Like, again, I don't like the idea of giving Michael a reason to kill. Just that idea of he's a monster through and through. And there's actually a cool, I think it was Topps Comics, that did a cool story where they explored Michael and Loomis realizing that Michael is the monster. Have it be set in Smith's Grove with a young Michael Myers and, you know, Loomis trying to, like, get through to him. but as like bodies start piling up, and that's when Loomis slowly realizes this guy's a monster and we need to stop him. That would be my kind of idea for a prequel. But yeah, thank you for those questions, Chris. Moving on now to Cyborg 19.99, who asks, what actor or actress would you have in the next Halloween movie? David Desmelchin. Yeah, he's a great horror actor, and he's a great character actor, and he sells everything. I wouldn't say... I don't know if I'd have him be like a good guy or a dick or like something, but I would have David Desmelchin in the movie. That's my pick. Yep. Second question. What Marvel or DC villain would you see being friends with Michael Myers? Well, Michael don't make friends, but I would say, I think Carnage would have a lot of fun with Michael. I will say that. I think Carnage would definitely see like, hey buddy, let's be friends. You're killing like I'm killing. That's who I think. Third question. What other movies, cartoons, video games, and anime would... Yep, knew this was coming. That's a cheap move. Anyway. Movies, fuck, I don't know, some other slasher film, maybe. Cartoons, Gravity Falls. Video games, Until Dawn. And anime, Angels of Death. There you go. Think of those questions, Cyborg. Yeah, sorry, it's been a long day, and I had to hydrate, and I'm not getting enough sleep. Anyway, moving on to our next set of questions from Jason Voorhees 2011, who asks, have you heard of any of the failed or canceled pitches for Halloween films, and which ones were the most batshit insane most of all? I would say the Twins of Evil. That one was really stupid. Like, all of them sound really bad. Like, all of them legit sound like just garbage-ass movies that I'm like, wow. The fact that we dodged a bullet on those films is nothing short of a godsend. I have to be honest. There were just some bad-sounding movies in there. There were just so many where I'm just like, oof, we dodged a bullet there. It's astonishing we got what we did. And even though we have bad sequels, those movies sounded worse. But Twins of Evil is the one that takes the cake for me. Anyway, second question. Even though both cuts are train wrecks, in my opinion, which version of Halloween 6 do you prefer? The easy answer would be neither, honestly. That would be the easy answer is, well, neither. I would prefer neither in this situation. But, yeah, no. I am gonna say... I'd say the producer's cut, just because it gives a little more explanation and the kills are a little better. The endings just... they both suck. It's like trying to choose a turd and a turd with sprinkles on it. That's really what you're dealing with here. Anyway, thank you for that question. Third question. Have you read the Halloween Ends novelization, and do you think some of the added scenes would at least help with the final product somewhat? I think the Halloween Ends novel, while Halloween Ends still sucks, I think stuff from Halloween Ends novel could have helped so much more. It was very clear the guy was like, I'm trying to do damage control here with what I've been given. So there's some great stuff going deeper into Corey Cunningham. There's stuff that really does feel like they wanted to do more with the psyche of Allison and Laurie and explain why they are in these situations. There is so much more in there. It makes it just a little bit more palatable. And I say a little bit by a margin. But anyway, thank you for those questions, Jason. Moving on now to Tom Hibbert, who asks, although you have said you enjoyed Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, can you agree that it should have been just called Season of the Witch? Yeah, I really do. I already said that. Like, yeah, I really do believe Halloween season... I really do think Halloween 3 should never have been... I feel like if it was just... I understand what Carpenter and Hill were trying to do. I really do. But had it not been called Halloween 3 and just called Season of the Witch, it would have been palatable and one of probably a much more loved film right out the gate than having to work that way to it. So yeah, absolutely. Second question. How would you feel in a potential Halloween movie of the idea of all the backstories of Michael were given out over the years, compelled to kill by Curse of Thorn, or he came from a abusive family, were myths and legends people made up as to a explaining he's evil, as the Joker puts it. I think that'd be cool. I think that's what Halloween 2018 kind of did by saying, like, people made up that it was her brother. I think that was a neat idea of, like, retconning it. But I do like the idea that, like, it does get that idea of, like, oh, he was had an abusive family, or it was, like, some druidic cult. And it's like, yeah, because Michael's the boogeyman, and the boogeyman has so many different origins. It's kind of funny because in the Infinityverse, the shared fanfiction universe Jason and I are working on, that's kind of what we do with Michael, where the main timeline is the Blumhouse films with 78, except we're decanonizing ends, obviously, and just have kills. But what we go with is that in the story that introduces Michael Myers into the Infinityverse, we basically go through the whole thing of, was it any of these things? And it was none of those things. But again, I think the idea of just saying, like, oh, Michael was this, and this, and when really he was none of those things. And again, it just adds to that urban legend of what Michael is, that larger-than-life figure. Third question. Even though Retro Realms Halloween game wasn't anything anyone expected, would you say it's a nice change of pace to have an action platformer based on a horror IP? Yeah. I know a lot of people are trying to be a Dead by Daylight game, and that's what I'm worried the next... Because they said there's two of them, and one of them Carpenter is working directly on. What I'm hoping that second game is... And while the retro fight beat-em-up style is kind of neat, it's a cool thing, but what I'm hoping the next Halloween game is something like Until Dawn or The Quarry, where it's like you get to choose if these characters can live or die through your actions while you're being hunted by Michael. I don't want another game where it's just a Dead by Daylight skin. We have too many fucking of those, alright? We got way too many of those, it's poisoned the market, and that's what I've wanted for a Halloween game for so long, is like something like Until Dawn. Is that too much to ask? Anyway, thank you for those questions, Tom. Moving on now to Hunter Johnson, who asks, did you know that Dr. Loomis was really going to be played by Peter Cushing or Christopher Lee? Yes, I did. That's really all I could say. What are your thoughts on Michael Myers saying it? The word die in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. It fucking sucked. I hated that. I really did despise that whole thing. That was just that just encapsulated everything I hated about that movie. Third question. How would a fight between Michael Myers and Ed's Viking persona Lothor go down? Lothor drops repeated cars on Michael and kills him. Thank you for those questions, Hunter. Moving on now to David Deister, who asks, if Halloween was made into a monthly comic book series, who would you want to publish it? Probably Dark Horse or Boom Studios, one of those two, and probably have James Tynion writing it. That'd be cool. Tynion has said multiple times he wants to do a Halloween comic. I say let him. So yeah, that's it. I'd say Boom Studios, probably. Second question. How would a Halloween Scooby-Doo Midnight Suns crossover work? I got no idea. I really don't know, and again, it's big crossover questions like that just make me go, I'd have to think on it. Probably have it that maybe this would probably be like Cult of Thorn, where Michael's being used as a killer, and the Midnight Suns are trying to stop the Cult of Thorn, and Scooby-Doo and Mystery Inc.'s caught in the middle. I don't know, shenanigans ensue. 3. What is your ranking of all the Halloween movies? I've done a few videos talking about the rankings for the Halloween movies. I've done more than enough on those, but if you want my ranking of like the top ones, it'd be Halloween 78, followed by Halloween 2018, and then Halloween 3, then Halloween 4. I'm not going to do the whole list, but those are the top ones for me. So there you go, guys. That is pretty much... Sorry, lost my train of thought. That is my Halloween Q&A. I want to thank everyone who sent in questions for this Q&A, and yeah, had a lot of fun with it. I've been so sorry, I'm tripping over my words. I'm tired. But yeah, you guys tell me in the comments below what you guys think of this Q&A, and like I said, if you'd like to be part of the next Q&A, just hit the link below, head on over to my Patreon, hit the first tier. That'll allow you access to do so. But other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.